I would warmly welcome you all to the very first workshop of the 18th Speech Olympiad, The Art of Speech Crafting. Public speaking is not merely about words, it is about touching hearts, inspiring minds, and creating connections that last a lifetime. Speech Olympiad 18, the flagship event of the Gavel Club of the University of Muratua, is the 18th edition of the prestigious inter-university speech competition, specially designed to empower undergraduates to develop their communication skills, unleash their potential, and become confident speakers. It is all about using your voice to make an impact and touch the hearts of your audience. So today we embark on a journey to sharpen that very art, and we are truly privileged to begin this journey under the guidance of an exceptional speaker, an experienced communication trainer, and a seasoned Toastmaster who has brought pride to District 82 with his outstanding achievements. He is an award winning public speaker who has inspired many hearts with his energy and passion for communication. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to warmly hand over the virtual stage to none other than Toastmaster Ravindu Amendra. Over to you, Toastmaster Ravindu Amendra.
Thank you, Supili, for that wonderful introduction. In Toastmasters and Gavel clubs, after giving a wonderful introduction, normally we say that, right? Otherwise, what to say? All right. So, before we start the session, can I request all the participants who are in a position to switch on your cameras to switch on your cameras? I really appreciate it. I can see a few participants have switched on their cameras. Let's give 1 minute of silence to not to mark the ballot sheet, but actually to switch on their cameras. By the way, Toastmaster of the day, moderator, am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Right. So there has to be an issue from their side that they might not be hearing me to switch on their cameras. Okay. Having said that, I know most of the time you might be after your lectures or else after your work or anything, 4:45 p.m., chilling in your rooms or else like, at your friend's place or anywhere. Okay. The art of writing a speech. Before I get into that, let me ask you a question first. Tell me, why do you really want to learn the art of crafting a speech? Let's get few participants. Why do you want to learn this? Except the Cavalier Supuli, she had been talking for a while. I invite other members to answer.
Yes, may I? Yeah.
Yes, please, sir. You don't even have to ask.
Well, in general, I guess to communicate our and express our ideas, we anyway need speech, and learning particular type of speeches like learning a way to tell your story out would help in other sectors of life as well.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Who else? Who else? Any other answers? You can even ask ChatGPT. Okay. Right. So I appreciate, I think, my friend Ilampurnan's answer. Really appreciate it. Having said that, the art of learning writing a speech really matters because it organizes your thoughts in your head. The thing is, my dear friends, when it's come to deliver a speech, how many times that, especially even in maybe your Gavel Club meetings, that your Toastmaster of the day or else your VP education gives you a call you and tell that, tomorrow you have a speech, or else like, 2 weeks before they call you and tell that you have a speech, but you remember to write the speech maybe 1 hour before the meeting. Have you ever done that? So at that point, we think, okay, we can speak. But the moment you go there, let's say the speech is 5 to 7 minutes, you basically spend 300 years to do that speech. That happens because our brain works so fast. And when you have that gift of speaking as well, you think that you can manage it. Here is the thing, my dear friends. The art of writing speech is basically helps you to organize your thoughts and slow down your thoughts and then point it and focus it to a great purpose. That is the thing. The writing of a speech and knowing the art of it matters a lot so that you can slow down your thinking. Sometimes we all say, I believe you, Ola. This is University of Moroto. I don't need to talk about your brain capacities. I mean, imagine I feel like I am a deer among lions because I have no idea about engineering and also mathematics that you all are experts on that. How beautiful it is. You have put it the name as Speech Olympiad. I can actually now be proudly say that I was a part of an Olympiad. That was a childhood sensation that I had. I wanted to participate in an Olympiad. So now I am a part of an Olympiad. I can go and tell to the people like, I was a part of Olympiad. I actually trained Olympians. Such a beautiful lie it would be. That will be a white lie as well, because anyway, I wasn't a part of Olympiad. Right, because so you are engineers, you're gonna be engineers and you are good in your brain. The speed of your brain works actually more than the lightning. Yeah, when it's come to other issues, you can be a tube light, but when it's come to more important logical issues, obviously, you are lightning fast. That's why you are in this prestigious university as well. We all have that people, right? We call that like, for example, my son is an engineering student, my daughter is an engineering student. Their brain works so fast like lightning light bulb or else like, lightning tube bulb. So here is actually organizing speech helps you, my dear friends, to slow down your ideas and then come to a proper consensus and then deliver the speech. So without any further ado, I will straight away get into the techniques where you can get and write speeches really well. Because you all are engineers and I also love to give things in structured way. Why do I disappoint you by giving here to motivate you? I don't want to motivate you here. I just want to educate you on something that I know. Because you are motivated only, you are participating for this workshop as well, and I appreciate that. All right, the first thing when you are going to write a speech, my dear friends, here is the thing. This is not only relevant for your Toastmasters or Gavel Club speeches. This is relevant for any future speech that you are going to write, any presentation that you are going to do, any elevator pitch that you are going to do in your life, because I train people not just to be a master in your Gavel Club, but to be a master in your life as well outside, because there is a big world beyond your university and also beyond your Gavel Club. That's the reality. So let's become immune for that. The first thing that you need to ask, the first tip is, my dear friends, what you need to ask yourself is, whenever you are going to craft a speech, is that what is the purpose of my speech? Number one is, what is the purpose of my speech? By conducting the speech or presentation, what do I need my audience to do or else them to feel? Very simple question. What is the purpose of my speech? You don't need to learn the purpose of the life. Nowadays, a lot of adults, kids have this question, what is the purpose of my life? Follow behind the purpose of your life. This reminds me of a very beautiful story. Once a man wanted to find the purpose of his life. He had been searching it for everywhere. And finally, he got to know there is a famous sage who had been meditating at the top of the Mount Everest, and he has found the purpose of the life. He decided to climb the Mount Everest. He finally climbed the Mount Everest and found this sage. And he asked, my dear sir, what is the purpose of life? How can I search it? And he smiled and said, you travel so far. Take out your chat GPT and ask, what is the purpose of life? So, the purpose of life is, my dear friends, not the purpose of life. Purpose of speech, there are 4 speeches, types of speeches that you can deliver. Number 1 is to inform. The whole purpose of that speech is to you to transcend your information, your knowledge to someone else who does not have it at the moment. For example, in a way, I am doing an informative speech. The purpose of this speech is to inform you how to craft a speech logically and also in the most sophisticated way. Second type of purpose of a speech is to persuade. Now, how to identify and understand what am I going to do? Persuasion is basically you are telling audience to do something directly. We call this CTA, call to action. You give the audience a very clear action to take after listening to a speech. For example, I'll take a 2013 World Champion of Public Speaking winner, Prasian Vasudev's speech, and I will send you all these speeches after this session through your coordinator. His speech was about changing a tire. But the speech message was, the purpose was to persuade. To do what? When you are struggling in your life, reach out to someone who knows better than you. If you want to learn singing, reach out to a singer. If you want to learn about playing cricket, reach out to a cricketer. If you want to learn about how to do coding, reach out to University of Morocco computer science experts like you all, like maybe anyone. Reach out. Because sometimes in our life, when we don't know something, our ego keep us away from reaching out. But it is always better to ask and get help, which I will come later for that point as well. So in persuasion, my dear friends, there is a clear call to action that the speaker tells what to do if this happens. You post a problem and then you give a solution and then you tell, do this. Are we clear? Are you following me up to this point? Yeah, right. All right. I assume that you all are following me because I don't know whether you are following me or not, because I am in front of a screen, you are in front of a screen, so there is no way that you can follow me. Right. All right. Having said that, in that one, let me give you a quick tip for you. When you are going to persuade the audience, make sure that your call to action is less than 10 words. For example, if you tell, my dear friends, if you are struggling in your life, when you have a problem in your life, when you don't feel like you can't do anything by yourself, when you feel like you are isolated, when you feel like you are alienated, when you feel like you are good for nothing, please make sure, reach out. Do you know how tiring it is to listen to that? It can be a good message, but I am trying to touch my nose this way. I can touch my nose like this, but by doing this, I am trying to touch my nose like this. Why? And I know you all are engineers. You always find easy ways to do things. Use your that smartness when you are crafting speeches. So always keep your call to action less than 10 words. That is my greatest point when I tell you to, when you are writing a persuasive speech. It is easy to say like this, but when it comes to craft it, it takes a lot of time. Now you ask me how to do this one. 5 years back, if you had asked me this, I would have told you, take your time and do it. But now we are living in an AI generated world. You have your concept, you have your ideas. Put your whole speech and then tell your purpose and tell, this is a persuasive speech. Give me 10 possible call to actions for this speech. My dear friends, I really don't want to sound smart for you by telling God gave me all these talent. I use tools now. 5 years back, if I had spent to craft a speech, let's say 6 hours, now I can do the same within 3 hours. Why didn't I say within 30 seconds? Still, you need your brain power, your human power to do that and craft the speech. Because creativity, you cannot replace with AI. The thinking patterns, you cannot. Maybe you can actually repeat the thinking patterns, but what comes to your mind at this moment cannot be traced by AI at the moment. I am very careful with my words at the moment. Okay. Because you engineers might be thinking, what do you know? We already programming one that we can read your minds. That's so that we can also start a church and we can say, I prophesy, I tell that, you went to this place and that place. Here is the thing. For the moment, let's honor our brain and Lord and also the technology and then do a better job. Okay. So keep your call to action less than 10 words. The third type of speech is, my dear friends, we call inspirational speech, which means through that speech, what you are doing is basically making the audience feel, okay, if Ravindu can do it, I can also do it. If Ravindu can do it, I can also do it, which means it gives you a push. It opens your eye for something that you never expected or imagined in your life. You start to think the life in a different form. That is inspiration. Where you thought you can't do this, but you listen to someone's story, you think, wow, he did it. Even I can try this now. That is the inspiration. We tell, right? Hey, you are a great inspiration for me. That was an inspirational movie. That was an inspirational speech. He is always very inspirational to me. She is very always inspirational to me. Inspire means igniting something inside you so that you can move forward. Inspiring mean, I'm telling it again, igniting something that was dormant inside you, and then it makes you forward. So if you can deliver a speech through your emotion, through your stories, to open someone else giant within them, that is we call inspirational speech. The fourth type of speech is, my dear friends, is we call the entertainment speech. Basically, what we do is entertain them. You take a stand-up comedy, a pure entertainment. Now, here is the thing. Ravindu, can we combine all together and then write a speech like that? I'll tell you like this. A speech cannot be always informative, always persuasive, always inspirational, always entertaining. You can mix few things and then make it more appealing. However, your foundation has to be one of these. Your foundation has to be one of these. For example, you can have the best persuasive speech. You can add humor to that. That is one element of it. But if you take the whole speech in one, it has to be a persuasive speech, or else it has to be an inspirational speech. That's how it makes sense. Are we clear, my dear friends? Like I can see some names like Supuli, Mariam. Hasidu, is that, are you from Panadura Toastmasters Club? You used to be a part of Panadura Toastmasters Club, I remember.
Yes,
Is
yes.
that you, or is this a different Hasidu?
Yeah.
You used to play tennis, right, brother?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, right. No, he's a good speaker. I mean, oh my God. Your president is a good speaker, as I.
Yeah.
Uh, I am glad that, out of all the talented speakers that you have selected me to deliver this presentation. So I am trying to give my best to you. Okay. Now we've determined what is the purpose of your speech. Now, I'm sure you'd have listened to this 1 billion, 1 million, and 3 trillion times that your speech should have opening, body, conclusion. I believe you know that, right? Opening, body, conclusion. Yeah, speech should have a proper opening, body, conclusion. Now let us learn the art of how to think about a speech before we craft a speech. Because here is the thing, my dear friends. If I was to do the same presentation, my dear friends, there are 4 ways of opening a speech. You can ask a question, you can tell a little story, you can start with a quotation, or else you can start by a prop. You all know this. But anyone who doesn't know, I will slowly touch. There are 4 ways of starting a speech. That is, 4, conventional ways of starting a speech. That is by telling a little story, or else a quotation, or else asking a question, or else just with a prop or something. We call this attention grabbing opening. How many of you are familiar with this whole technical word, attention grabbing opening? Can I have a little raise of hands, or else thumbs up from your Zoom? Attention grabbing opening. Like, for example, okay, oh my God, no one knows, seems like that. Okay, I'm glad that, I told that, okay. Opening, you can open a speech by those techniques. I have seen speakers who always starts a speech like this. How many of you? How many of you? How many of you? How many of you have gone here? How many of you have felt like this? There are so many other ways to start a speech, but this is the most safest way. Right. The next is how to go to the body. Like, I'm just touching the basics first before I go to the gold nuggets. Body, you need stories. I am telling you, this what I am doing is giving you the basics at the moment before I jump in to go deeper. The body of a speech needs, because you are doing a 5 to 7 minute speech, and this is thoroughly focused on a competition, I'm telling you, it requires stories. We are going to learn few techniques about how to tell a story also in a gripping way. And the third one is the conclusion. Is that where you, okay, this will make bit interesting for you. I need your support at this moment. How many of you think the message is the conclusion of the speech? Can I have a raise of hands? How many of you think message is the conclusion of the speech? Oh, wow. Like, no one thinks that message is the conclusion of the speech. That's interesting. Okay, one Chamat raised his hand. Thank you, Chamat, for joining my lonely club. Otherwise, I would have felt so isolated. Thank you for doing a justice to my question, Chamat. Okay, right. Here's the thing. Actually, Chama, thank you again. I'm so grateful for you. Actually, message of a speech is not the conclusion. Conclusion means normally message comes before the conclusion. Conclusion means of a speech where you leave the audience with an awe. Also, your message is rooted, you do something to root the message to the audience. That's the exact word that I can use. You do something, say something that your message is rooted. It's like hitting a seal. You check all the documents and finally and at the airport, like when they look at your face, look at the passport, look at your face and look at the passport and they put the seal, that like that. So conclusion needs a message plus and also an anchor. A lot of people say you need an anchor at the opening. I would say you need a proper anchor in the conclusion, because if your speech message is like a ship, people need to keep your message. You need to keep your message in people's heart forever. For that, you need an anchor. Otherwise, another speaker comes, your speech will be like a dockyard. One comes, one goes. One comes, one goes. One comes, one goes. So you make sure that you definitely do an anchor in your conclusion as well. So this is the basic, my dear friend. Now let's get into the real business. How to identify a great message to my speech, how to get a concept. I mean, you must be like struggling at the moment. I know there are people like, okay, there's a speech competition coming on, or it's like, I have this idea, but I don't know what kind of a concept that I can take. Very simple. I'll tell you one of the greatest secret of greatest speakers. They always use analogies. What do you mean by an analogy? You take a concept in your head which is highly complicated, and then you take a very simple object or something that is very common in the society or in the physical world and combine it. I'll tell you an example. Dhananjay Hettiarachi, world champion of public speaking 2014. I believe you would have watched that speech if you had not watched it. In his speech, he is talking about the broken feelings of a man, of a person, the lost feeling. Now I'll tell you this, my dear friends. Ask yourself a question. In his speech, he tells you and I are not so different from this flower. Just like this flower, you are unique. But life has a cruel way of picking up petals, breaking you into two, and push you into the trash can. Now, when you're broken, it's difficult to feel special. I mean, I remember most of the world champion of public speaking speeches word by word, because that is my job to study them. And then he keeps on telling that how his life was broken at points and how he became the person he is now. Now think for a while, in that speech, if there was no rose, it would have been a normal speech with a very complicated idea. But what he did was he took this whole concept of feeling lost and connected it to a flower, and then he built his speech around that. That is what we call analogy. World champion of public speaking 2013, Persian Vasilev, I told you this earlier as well. His speech messages reach out when you are struggling in your life. That is the message. If he had done that speech in a normal way, we would have forgotten that speech after 5-6 minutes. But what he did was he brought a story and he connected the whole concept of changing a tire to his message. Basically, you are hooking your message to something. That is we call analogical speaking. Analogy. Now you think, I'll give you an exercise, my dear friends. I don't want you to make you parrots. I told this will go beyond your life as well. Whenever you are going for a sales pitch or anything in your life, when you become engineers, or when you even go for your interview, I'll tell you an example. You just look around any object around you and then think about the concept that you really want to talk about. Now try to tally it. There will be a point, somehow you will find a connection. It needs a lot of timing. And it comes out of the blue. You might be traveling, you might be sleeping, you might be studying. You out of the blue get an idea, hey, life is like a peacock. Or else problems that we have in life is like making a chicken curry. Then things become more easier for you to build a very interesting content. I'll tell you, my dear friends, people don't have time and patience to listen to just for a story. We all glorify storytelling, right? But the essence of story, how many of you have listened or watched or else would have come across the art of storytelling, the master class of storytelling? But the real essence they are talking there is how to connect your story for a palatable concept. Because, my dear friends, because Supuli, it's like this. Otherwise, everything in our life are incident. The moment you connect it into a very relatable concept or object or an idea, relatable one, that is how it becomes a story. Otherwise, everything happening around us are incidents. This, I deliver this session for you, is an incident of your life out of millions of incidents that happened in your life and going to happen in your life. But how can I make it a story for you? What is the value that I can add for you through this one? So the first thing when you are crafting a speech, ask yourself, this is the concept that I want. How can I make it relatable to others by selecting something around me? And that something has to be relatable and common for others as well. For example, let's say you have a grass cutting machine that no one has seen. And then you see assignments are like a grass cutting matting machine. Then the people who are listening might be like, okay, I understood the word grass cutting. I understood the assignment, but how does it connect to a grass cutting machine? There, my dear friends, which brings me, give a little elaboration. In that case, you can open your speech. Let's say you will talk about an incident. You feel like, I don't know actually how come this grass cutting machine came to my mind, but let me actually give you a practical demo out of right now. That I can tell you that we can make anything and everything a speech through a proper analogy. Okay, for your information, grass cutting machine, I believe you would have seen that, but if you had not seen it, because sometimes there are people who have not seen even a bus, who have not traveled in a bus. Recently, very recently, I did a session for a very famous ladies' school in Sri Lanka. When I asked those ladies, have you traveled in the bus? None of them have traveled on a bus. So for the concept that I tried to tell them was a bit odd for them. I had to explain them. Okay, let's say you have an incident that you have an assignment at the moment, and also your Gavel Club members pushed you to join this how to develop a speech session. You can start. My mama always say to my father, cut the grass in the garden, because if it grows, it looks so messy. And my father always says, the first grass that I want to cut from my life is you. Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, I remember on this Saturday, it was 4:45 p.m. I was at my home. I get a call from my VP education. We have very less number of participants for this speech developing workshop. Come and join. Here I was struggling with my assignment. I had to make a choice: assignment or speech drafting. Speech drafting or assignment. I chose assignment. However, my friend begged me, I had to join. There was this gentleman who was telling about all these things, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now I'm coming to the message, my dear friend. My dear friend, sometimes in our life, you need a way to cut off your distractions from your life. Your distractions can grow like grass in your mind. What is the grass cutting machine that you have in your life? For me, it is my focus. Focus is the greatest grass cutting machine in the world. When you master it, none of the distractions can grow in your mind. I just give an example, okay? So you see, what I did was I connected focus into a grass cutting machine. I really don't know still how this grass cutting machine came to my mind. I have to ask ChatGPT how it came to my mind. But the thing I'm telling you, my dear friends, you see how did I connected it. This is what you need to do. Okay. Now, okay, Ravindu, we understand we need to connect it to an analogy. But where to find the problem? Ask yourself, what are the greatest burning problems in your life at the moment? It can be oversleeping. It can be overeating. It can be overstudying at the moment. I mean, I know students who study CIMA, engineering, CIM, SLS, marketing, and everything together. Like their brains are working like machines. If I was given that one, I would die on the spot. Just imagine. I believe there might be participants here who are following CIMA and engineering degree together. I'll tell you, I bow my head for you. You all are the greatest minds. Just learn the art of public speaking properly. You will be unstoppable. And thanks to this program that your university is organizing for you, you are learning it for free and you take the full use of it. Because, my dear friends, your degrees and qualification can only take you to the door of the organization that you are dreaming to join. But the real knock and sustainability depends on how well you do your speaking and your soft skills. It is not anymore called soft skills, it is called power skill. Public speaking, not anymore public speaking, it is called power speaking. Because you show your power, confidence, and poise through your eloquence. There is a saying in public speaking, 20% is what you know, 80% is how you say it. Here, through this workshop, you are going to learn how to say it. That is what you are doing. So, think about a burning problem in your life and then think about a very relatable concept or an object and try to connect it. Put a story for that one. You got the speech. Are we clear up to this point, my dear friends? Do you want to clarify anything? Seems like the silence gives me maybe you might have not understood anything, but or else you have understood everything and you are waiting for me to go to the next point. Thinking that that is the case, I will move to the next point. Now you know how to identify a concept and also how to make it interesting, right? Here comes the most beautiful and the most famous part, storytelling. I'll tell you few steps how to make your incident into a story. This is how we do it. Take your story and then always keep the suspense. Never give the story away just like that. Always keep the audience on edge by giving twists. Now let's see how we can do this one, my dear friends. I'll take an incident. And I am going to show you also that I can share the screen, right? Can I share my screen, Supuli?
Yes, you can share.
Okay, thank you. Right. So can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. Still? No?
No.
Okay.
Others? Yeah.
Now, okay. Can you see it?
Not yet. Oh, no, okay.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Whatever the prompts that I come to my computer now, I say allow. Okay, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to share you. This is my this year International Toastmasters International Speech Contest speech, which I won the 3rd place in the district level. First thing that you can see is I have opened more than 19-20 tabs to write this speech. And can you see there is a part called story building? And then there is a part called rhetoric questions. And there is a part called foundational questions. Can you see this? Okay, let's go to the tab number 1. If you see, okay, let me tell you the whole concept of this one. 6 months back, not 6 months back, actually 7 months back, I met with a deadly accident. I broke my leg. I couldn't walk for 7 months, actually 6 months. Recently only I started walking again. Basically, I delivered my speech while sitting on the stage. Okay, so let me show you how I was. This was me a few months back with a broken leg. This was me on the stage with a crutch. Now, I'll tell you what I did. Here is the thing, my dear friends. This was one of the deadliest incidents in my life. One of the deadliest, if you ask me, the first one. I mean, if you rank it, that's the first one. At that moment I met with the accident, I had 4 speech prepared for the international speech contest season. and all were prepared for a proper deliverable speech, which means using the stage, using the vocal variety, facial expressions, and everything. However, in a split second, not only I broke my leg, but also my whole confidence and also my speech dream went away just like that. The first thing that I asked when I was in the hospital, when I got consciousness, when I came into the real conscience, when can I walk? And they said, it'll take 5 to 6 months. Then I asked, how am I going to contest? They said, you'll have to let go this time. And they said it, the doctors and my friends said it with a genuine, loving heart. And I also decided to let it go. But somehow, in the middle of February, I felt I should share this whole incident and what I felt in my hospital room, so that someone who is broken in their life and feeling stuck in their life will start to move. Now I am coming back. How did I do this speech? How did I develop this speech? The speech message was, no one heals alone, no one rises alone, which means you cannot build yourself alone. Even if you think that you can do it by yourself, there will be a point. I am telling you, write it down. There will be a point, or else there might have been points in your life that you couldn't do it alone. The simple existence, the most sharpest example that I can give you, my dear friend, the argument that I can give you is, you are here in this world is because of your mother and father both. And with God's grace, that's a different thing. But to this carnal world, the world that you can see, you are here because of your biological mother and father. Okay, what about Ravindu? Test tubes, like, tube kids. For them also, there has to be a scientist or someone to do that process. Now, I was in a room called Room 2F. My speech title was Room 2F. On a one Sunday evening, I was hopeless and looking at the fan because I couldn't move left or right. I was just stuck on a bed like this. I was just looking at the door, that how empty my life is and how stuck I am in this room. My dear friends, there was a time in my life I didn't know whether it was day or night because it was covered. I only know the nurse come and gives me my medicine. They takes me to the hospital sometimes to do my surgeries and do my necessary wound dressings. And then they bring me lunch and dinner. I didn't know whether it is raining. I didn't know whether it is sunny, nothing. It's people who came to see me told, it is raining outside. It is very sunny outside. I don't know. I didn't know. So, speech was 2F. That means, my dear friends, when you're broken in your life, fear and failure puts you into a room called Room 2F, and that is called Room 2F. Fear and failure. But if you allowed your friends to come in, faith will come inside with that friendship, and you will be lifted up by your friends. So any point in your life, if you are stuck at this point or even in this life, at the moment also, in fear and failure, in a Room 2 of your own, Let the friends knock and bring the faith to you. Your life will be lifted up. How did I do this speech? Is that by thinking that concept. For storytelling, first of all, you need to make a setup. You need to tell where it was, when it happened, straight away within few details. And then you need to bring the audience into the problem as soon as possible. Why I am telling you this, my dear friends? Because you have only 5 to 7 minutes. After that, you build up your story by bringing up characters, by adding characters and dialogues. But here is the thing. Don't add too much of characters and dialogues. Have some anchoring characters and build the story around that. Here is the thing. Every now and then, maybe 1 or 2 times, add a rhetoric questions that connects to the opening and the desired conclusion that you have. For example, in my speech, there was a line that I asked, have you ever felt that your faith has left without even knowing? Before that, I have set up the story to a level that I have told the audience that I was so lost and in such a wilderness. How did I do that? I added some dialogues like this. I said, fear came to me and whispered to my ears, you will never walk again. You will never stand again. What if your mother dies before you go home? Fear speaking to me. I brought even the fear like a person. And then I asked, have you ever lost your faith? Like that. It should connect to the center message of the speech. Whatever the questions that you ask, my dear friends, as rhetoric questions, has to connect to the opening and the story and the conclusion. It should be hints. They should be hints. Are we clear? That is how you make the speech more gripping, the story gripping. And at a part of the speech, every story, let's say we will take very simple, there are a lot of storytelling structures. Very famous one is hero's journey, which means the hero faces a problem and he goes into a bigger conflict. Now he starts a journey to find the solution. There he finds a mentor or a guru. After that, he resolves his own problem. Then he comes back. When he comes back, he resolves a problem of someone else through the solution that he got, and then he is glorified. This is the clear hero's journey technique. Let me tell it to you again. Hero has a problem. He goes into the conflict. Now he goes in a journey to find a solution. In that journey, 4th one, he finds a mentor or a guru to give him the solution. Now what he does it as the 5th step, he resolves his own problem. 6th one is, now he goes back. While he is going back, he meets another problem or a person who is facing the problem that he faced. And he gives that solution to him or her, or that person or that situation. It is resolved. Finally, he reaches out to again his destination, his main point, and he is glorified. Does this make sense to you? Now in your speech, when you're building the story, first of all, set up. Give a setup, where it happened, how it happened, what did you feel? The moment, straight away bringing him into the chaos. Now you tell your conflict. How did you feel? What happened to you after that? How did people rejected you? This and that and this. And finally, when you are at the verge of giving up, someone comes and give you. This realization can calmly actually come within you as well. Now, here is the most important part. Most of the time when we deliver a speech, we never make it relatable to the audience. That is why I told you, apply now your problem to the audience. My dear friends, how many of you are stuck in a room 2F at the moment in fear and failure? For me, it was the rehab center. But for you, this room 2F can be your work, can be your university, can be your relationship. Are you stuck in fear and failure? Let people come and knock. Let the friends and faith come inside your room and they will lift you up. Do you see how gripping that story to you now? You need to do that retreat part. We call this retreating. It's not all about you finding the solution. You need to retreat by giving it to others. This is how you build an impactful story. Are you clear, my dear friends? Anything you need to clarify about building the story? I'm giving you in the most concise way with the time limitations. Are we clear? Now, in my speech, there was a part that I was so lost. Someone comes and knocks. I straight away I didn't say, oh, my friend Asita came and knocked. No. I heard the knock, 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 knock. Who this could be? See, I increase the suspense. Who this could be? I could have easily said, right, knock, knock, there comes my friend Asita. No, knock, 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 knock. I don't want to see or hear anyone. Who this could be? And the knock continued. Out of frustration, I muttered, come in. In came my friend Asita. Do you see? Now you also like, okay, who this could be? Who this could be? Who this could be? Who this could be? Ah, okay, who is coming here to disturb Ravindu? Ah, this is the one. Are you clear, my dear friends? Always keep them on the edge. But don't only keep them on the edge, make them comfortable also after a while. Otherwise, they will die on the edge. Because your speaking contest, your speech is not a movie, remember that. Okay, I'll tell you the most important line that I can tell to you. The tip that I can tell to you. At the end of your speech, never keep the audience questioning what happened next. You can do it in the middle of the speech until you come to a clear conclusion. Always in your speech, keep the audience finally. Okay, this happened and this is what happened because of that. You please do not keep the audience questioning. Okay, it was a nice story, but what happened next? What is in it for me? Because this isn't a movie. That part 2 comes. KGF part 2. The rise. Or as the Bahubali, the conclusion. This is not that. You only have 5 to 7 minutes. You have to bring a problem. You need to solve it and then leave the audience in a up, high. When you are now adding humor, the greatest way to engage your content is to add humor. That is actually a separate session. Here I am telling you how to develop the speech, but I'll tell you, even at the worst experience stories, if you know the art of making people laugh, the speech becomes so engaging. I'll tell you an example. In my speech, I tell that my friend Sajan dropped me at the room 2F. And I told him, please don't tell anyone. And my dear friends, for your information, he's a Toastmaster. And then I built the story, okay? And then finally I told you, knock, 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 knock. I didn't want to hear someone or see someone. And it continued. Out of frustration, I said, come in. And in comes Asita. But how did he get to know? My dear friends, Asita is also a Toastmaster. I told you, Sajan is also a Toastmaster. When two Toastmasters meet, that's where news are spread. So the audience were rolling on the floor when I said it. Like, there's a way that you say it. But the thing is, see, I made one of the most deep, sad, dark moment to one of the most lightest moment through that humor. Humor is a different session. I don't know whether you have a session for humor, but I am telling you, learn that as well. So to sum up, ask yourself before you write the speech, what is the purpose of my speech? What do I need my audience to feel after hearing my speech, after listening to my speech? Do I need to persuade them or inspire them mainly? After that, now you ask, how am I going to connect my message to a well-known concept or an idea or else an object where it becomes digestible? How to find a concept for my speech? Ask yourself, what are the most burning problems that you have in your life at the moment? Now, connect that, your incidents connect to it. Then start building the stories around it. First, make a setup. Tell where it happened, with whom it happened, how did it happen. Now bring to the conflict of it. How did you feel at that moment? What did you hear? What did you smell? And all these things. Then you bring them down, and at a point you come to a realization. It can happen by to yourself, or else someone else comes and tell you, and then retreat it. You apply and you become a better person, and now you give it to others as well. Make sure your audience is not thinking what will happen next. Just keep them on the seat. After all these, keeping them on the edge comfortably. Okay, this happened. Okay, now we know what to do. Relax. Make the audience relax. You can make them cry. You can make them laugh. You can make them suspense. But at the end of the speech, they should be like, oh, finally. Right. Good. This happened. Are we clear, Seenath? Okay. Oh, these are the people that I can see. That's why I'm using their names. Okay. Are we clear, Sandavi? Are we clear, Santosh? Are we clear, Harshi, Kavisha, Chamhat, Malisha? Like, yeah. All right. All right. All right. Any questions that I can help you to clarify?
Yes, I might have a question. So,
Yes, sir. Thank you for asking a question in the
yeah.
beginning and also in the end as well. Such a wonderful asking. Tell me, sir.
So, in especially like in our university, there is like a lot of people who would be very eager to do an informative speech, so that in a way, like more than the incidents, they care about more the concepts and the philosophies.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, it depends. But they probably like do like even sometimes me like the incidents don't come to mind. The concepts is what comes to mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you, and like they want to do the informative speech. So how do you connect it to like a Toastmaster speech? Right?
So you are asking me, sir, that how to make your informative speech more engaging by connecting stories? Is it what you're asking?
Yes. Or like if is a pure informative speech okay
Okay.
for a contest?
No,
Like
sir.
that's the first
I'll tell
question.
you. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Straight
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Straight no. Why do I take you? Why do I beat around the bush? Oh, yeah, try a new concept and this and that. No, because it's a big no. Okay. Because the thing is, the whole, if you go through the ballot of also international speech contest, and I'll tell you this, you can make an informative speech, powerfully persuasive speech by adding human stories. For example, take Steve Jobs. He just basically shared his all the concepts and also his products through a informative speech, right? But it was very engaging through his humor and storytelling. But so when it comes, you need to understand which ground are you playing and also for which countries and also which, what is the game are you playing at the, you can't play the test cricket the way that you play the ODI or T20. You can't play T20 the way that you play ODI, right? So become better, sir, like you are able to craft your speech for informative or whatever according to the situation. For this competition, sir, informative speech, no. What you can do is take out incidents from your life. We all have incidents, sir. It's just that we are not vigilant enough to think and put it into a paper and then start refining it. I told you 2013 World Champion of Public Speaking, Prasian Vasilev's speech was just a simple incident of changing a tire. And he won the world using that incident, converting it to a story. And incident went to a story and story went into win, on to win. It's just that we don't, that's why I told you. Look around you and see the incidents around you and how you can connect into a very interesting idea. At the moment, like, we say, I mean, I'll tell you some overly used uh, concept. Life is like an ice cream. It has different tastes. Come on. Okay, you don't always have to think about food, right? Sometimes life is like a dal curry. You put this and you put make this and you make it spicy. Like, come on. Really? You can do better. Ice cream season is gone. Okay. Are you clear, sir?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Sasindu, ask me.
Yeah, when we are crafting a speech, some are trying to create a completely imagined story that not an experience of him or her. So when we are doing a speech like that, we feel like sometimes that's not bit realistic. So how can we make implementations to make it more realistic way? Sometimes they feel like I also feel like that the stories that I have can't elaborate more engagingly to express the message that I want to say. So I'm trying to develop a new story to develop my speech. So yeah, how
Okay.
can I make it more
Interesting.
realistic?
Very interesting question. Have you heard about, like, when it's come to storytelling, stories make your speech or whatever authentic? Because your story is your story. I'm going to bust another myth now. How many of you here watch movies? Can I have a raise of hands, please? Okay. Okay. You actually don't have to watch movies. How many of you like to read books or whatever? Here is the thing. Let's take okay, Hasindu. Let's okay. Okay, I'll ask Harshi. Harshi, what's your favorite movie? I can see Harshi's ceiling. Harshi, what?
Sorry about that. A superhero movie?
A superhero movie, like any specific name that you can tell me, Harshi?
Marvel?
Marvel. Which movie?
Captain America?
Oh, right, Captain America. Right. You all know Captain America, my dear friends, is a lie. But millions, billions of people know it. They watch it as if it is so true. I'm getting into a question, Hasindu. I believe half of the way now you have gotten your answer, but I'm going to tell you is that let's ask Mariam, or like, how do you pronounce it, madam? Miss
Mariam.
Mariam, do you watch movies?
Yeah, really.
Rarely. What is the last movie that you watched?
I can't recall one. Like I like the How to Train Your Dragon, the recent.
How to Train Your Dragon. Okay. These are not reality. You read fictions, right? The name itself, fiction, says it's a made-up story. But we sometimes, while crying and while sobbing, we read the book. We go to that story like, we imagine I could marry that girl, I could marry that guy, I could be, if I was in that situation, I would do this. How? Power of storytelling, Hasindu. So I'll bust a myth. Stories don't have to be authentic all the time, but you can make it feel authentic. That is where the real mastery comes. 90% of the movies made and produced in the world are imaginations. Even the realistic movies, that is like, let's say take I watched a Tamil movie recently. I mean, I am a huge fan of Tamil movies. I went to the first show of this Coolie movie because it was highly anticipated. Went to the movie. Half of the movie, I can now tell the plot. Out of the blue, they kill a person, and then he just comes alive. And he was killed by hammering on his head. In real world, if someone just come and knock on this bottle on my head, I would die. You are hammered to your head, but still you are alive. But I believed it and I watched that movie till the end. So, Hasindu, my friend, it is all about, sir, even though you don't have a real story to connect to your concept, make sure the story that you are making up is properly connecting to the story, to the message. For that, you need your storytelling techniques. And also, the downside of it, Hasindu, you need to know detail to detail of the story that you are going to tell, because it didn't happen to you. If it's your real story, oh yeah, anyway, I can tell the story somehow, I can manage it. But when it's a made up one, it is not. But hey, you can do it. I would love to see a story like that. But here it is like this. You are not, if you come and tell like, Last week, I went to the mass and there I met with an accident. No. Okay, did I answer your question, Asidu?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the question. Any other questions? As a courtesy, two friends asked questions. But if you don't have question, that's also totally fine. All right, I think the silence says for me to be silent. So I I wish you all the very best. I'll tell you before I wind up my session. Here is the thing, my dear friends, is that communication, doing speeches, it isn't about what we say. It is about the connections that we make, and those connections lifts us. The story that you tell gives hands for you at the most least expected time of your life. The speech that you do can take you into the places where you have never imagined in your life. So take it seriously, because doing a speech is not a 5 to 7 minutes journey. It is an artistic journey where you put your heart and soul and effort and time. And that will be rewarded in the most unexpected way. You might not be the winner of that contest, but there can be someone in that room, in that hall, in that audience who will definitely connect with you and will say, hey, thank you for doing this speech because it felt for me and I feel like you did it for me. That has to be your goal, but it has to be done in a very technical way, because crafting a speech required a lot of effort and knowledge. I gave you drop of the sea. From the drop, I know. I also don't know the sea still. I'm still in the shore. I'm still in the beach. I'm yet to go to the waters as well. I wish you all the very best, the Olympians. You already are champions. Thank you for making a part of your Olympiad journey. I wish you all the very best. Put your effort. Let me wind up my session by telling, we always tell about be smart, be smart, be smart, be smart. Smart work always outworks hard work. But it is because of the hardworking people we are sustaining in this world. We are living in this world. What we actually imply by telling a smart work, someone who build something, a system or something by doing hard work, we are making it bit easier and we call it smart work. Somewhere around the world in history, someone thought we can start internet in 1970s or 80s. And now it has come to a level of AI. Imagine the hard work, the people who put it. So I am telling you, work hard. Hard work will never fail you. For me, doing the speech on stages was actually nearly impossible. I was carried by my wheelchair through staircases, three, 4 stories up. And still I did the speeches. And I'll tell you one thing, when you have the greatest content, my dear friends, actually delivery is a very minute part. through your vocal variety and your content, you can win a speech. I'm telling you now at this point. How and who is telling this? A man who did the speech throughout the contest season without even moving single inch, stucking into a chair. All the very best champions, Olympians. Thank you for the opportunity. Over to you, Supuli.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ravindu Amendra, for those lovely words. And as we come close to the end of today's insightful session, first and foremost, a heartfelt thank you goes out to our amazing speaker, Toastmaster Ravindu Amendra, once again. And now to deliver the vote of thanks, let me warmly invite one of our co-chairs of Speech Olympiad 18, Gavalier Dehan Valkularachi. Over to you, Dehan.
Thank you, Supali. So good evening for all of you. So yeah, what a session we just had. Thank you once again, Mr. Ravindu, for that. I mean, like personally for me, speech crafting is one of the hardest challenges I have to encounter when making a speech. So you just clarify that. You just clarify that out. And I mean, for most of us here, I mean that's kind of a problem. So not only the speech was not only the session was informative, it was like fun with your stories, the wisdom, and the spark of inspiration that you just provided. So all in all, on behalf of all the Gala Club of University of Moratu, I would like to thank you, Mr. Ravindu, for that wonderful session. And yeah, I would also like to take this moment to thank our sponsors for Speech Olympiad 18, which is TVS, Euro Motors, and Dan and Ken. Thank you for being the fuel of Speech Olympiad. If it's not for you, we could have done this. And finally, I would like to thank the organizing committee and all the participants here. So the Gavin family, if not for you, we aren't like, there's no purpose of this at all. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, I would like to see you in next sessions as well. Speech Olympia 18. Let's have that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavalier Dehan. And this is to all of you who are present here today. So don't forget to scan the QR code, which you will see on the screen right now, to register for the prestigious competition. And we are waiting for all of you. And just a small reminder, the second workshop will take place tomorrow, the 24th of August from 7 p.m. onwards. And we hope to see you all there tomorrow to learn the art of speech delivery, just as we learned about speech crafting today. So to make your speech as powerful as you want them to be. So that comes to an end. And before we wrap up, let's all turn on our cameras and smile together for a moment and take a quick group snap to remember today's session.
I think we lost the speaker, right? That's fine. We'll just take an hour. So Dehan, can you take a pic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So others, can you turn on the cameras?
I think we can take, right? That's fine.
Okay. So in three, right, in 3, 2, okay. Chama is turning on the camera. So that's it.